The meeting was called a brief, yet it had been running for an hour and 10 minutes. At the far end of the conference table sat a man who had stopped listening. Not because he didn't care, but because he'd already figured out where the conversation was going 10 minutes before it got there. He checked his watch. Not the way a bored man does in a boardroom, but the way a soldier does. Because that's what he was, before the boardrooms. And if the army teaches a man anything, it teaches him what an hour is worth, and what it costs when somebody wastes one. He watched people walk out of meetings like this every week, and by the time they reached the hallway, most of them couldn't tell you what the meeting was about. 2,000 years ago, in the richest house in Rome, a man watched the same thing happen and wrote down what he saw. His name was Seneca, advisor to an emperor, the wealthiest man of his age, and he said the one thing nobody in that boardroom wanted to hear. It is not that we have a short time to live, it is that we waste most of it. He left behind 7 lessons about time. If you take even one of them to heart, the second half of your life will not look like the first. Here's the first one. Seneca opens his letter with a complaint he kept hearing, that life is too short. Old men said it, young men said it, even doctors and senators said it. And Seneca said, "You're wrong. Life is long enough if it were all well invested." Think about what he's saying. The problem was never the amount of time you were given. The problem is how much of it gets spent on things that don't matter, and how little gets spent on things that do. The bored man in that boardroom understood this better than most. He'd already done the math nobody likes to do. An hour a week in a meeting that goes nowhere is 50 hours a year. More than a working week of his life every year spent in a room where nothing happened. What a waste. Now, here's the part where most people get this lesson wrong. Seneca isn't telling you to fill every minute, to hustle, to grind, to never rest or have fun. That's not it at all. He's telling you to own your hours the way you own your money. You wouldn't hand a stranger your wallet, would you? But most of us hand strangers our afternoons and never ask for a receipt. Does that make sense? A long life isn't the one with the most years in it. It's the one where the years belonged to you. Seneca noticed something strange about people. Touch a man's property and he'll fight you for it. Put a hand near his wallet and watch how fast he moves. People build fences. They lock doors. They count every dollar twice. But their time? Not so much. No one is willing to share out his money, Seneca wrote. But look how many people each of us hands out his life to. The man at the desk knew this one by heart. Every day, somebody leaned into his doorway and said the same 4 words. "Got a minute?" It was never a minute, more like an hour, sometimes more. And here's the strange part. A man who wouldn't lend you $20 without thinking it over will lend you his entire afternoon without thinking about it at all. Remember the wallet from lesson 1? Here's the difference nobody tells you. The money comes back. The afternoon doesn't. You'll never get that part of your life back. So be generous, with your help, with your knowledge, and with your kindness. A good man is. But know the difference between giving your time and having it taken. One of those you'll never regret. The other you'll never get back. Seneca had a word for the people rushing past. the preoccupied, men who, in his words, lose the day waiting for the night and lose the night fearing the dawn. Always moving, never arriving. The man saw them every day of his career, calendars with no white space left. Folks who answered, "How are you?" with "busy," and said it like a medal of honor. But he noticed something about the busiest people he knew. Walk them out of those meetings, ask them in the hallway what they'd actually done that day, and most of them couldn't tell you. Busy is a costume. It looks like a life from a distance. Up close, it's mostly motion. Or like one of those paintings. From a distance, a masterpiece. Up close, just thousands of little dots that don't look like anything at all. And Seneca's warning still holds, 20 centuries later. You can fill every hour of every day and still come to the end having never lived a single one of them on purpose, the way you wanted. So here's the question worth asking. Not, what do I have to do today, but what did today actually give me? A full calendar is not a full life, especially one that wasn't created for you and what you want. Don't confuse the two. The man at the desk kept a list. Most of us do. The fishing trip, the workshop he was going to build, the places he meant to take his wife. Good things, real things. And next to every one of them, an invisible word. Someday. Seneca called postponement the greatest waste of a life. It promises the future, he wrote, and devours the present. Notice what someday actually costs you. It feels free. That's the trick of it. It feels like you're saving the good things for later, like money in the bank. But time doesn't bank. Every someday is paid for with a today. A soldier learns this early because the army doesn't deal in some days. The mission is now. The window is now. You move when it's time to move, because the moment doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The expectation of tomorrow, that's the thief. It steals quietly. It takes today from you while promising you something it was never going to deliver. How late it is, Seneca wrote, to begin living just when life must end. Look at the list you have created for yourself. Pick one thing on it, and take the word someday off of it, and live your life. You only get one. Seneca divided time into 3 parts. What's coming, uncertain. What's here, short. And what's gone. Whatever years lie behind us, he wrote, are already in death's hands. That sounds dark, doesn't it? But stay with me. The man at the desk had worn a uniform once, and a soldier understands this lesson before he understands almost anything else. Yesterday is over and gone. You can learn from it, you can be proud of it, but you can't live in it, and you can't get it back. Most people don't lose their lives all at once. They lose them an hour at a time. And worse, they spend today grieving the hours they already lost, which is just losing more time. What a slippery slope. Here's what Seneca actually wants you to see. The past being over and gone isn't a punishment. It's a release. You don't owe yesterday anything anymore. Whatever you wasted, whatever you do differently, that account is closed, gone, and no amount of worry is going to bring it back. The only piece of your life that was ever truly yours is the piece in your hands right now. So hold it like you mean it. Now, after 5 lessons about not wasting time, you might think Seneca wants you working until you drop. Nothing could be further from the truth. This lesson is about rest. because Seneca believed in rest. He just knew there are two kinds, and only one of them gives anything back. There's rest that fills you, and there's rest that just passes the time. You know the difference because you felt both. There are evenings you finish a good book, a long walk, a real conversation, and you stand up fuller than when you sat down. And there are evenings that disappear into a glowing screen, computer, phone, or TV, and when you finally look up, you feel like you've been robbed. Except you were the one who handed your time over. Seneca said the only people truly at leisure are the ones who use it to get wiser. Everyone else isn't resting, they're just idle. And idleness is busyness lying down. The man at the desk learned to spend his evenings like he spent his money, on things that paid him back. Rest isn't the enemy of a well-spent life, it's part of one. Just make sure that when you rest, you chose it and it gave you something in return. There's a man on a porch with a cup of tea. If you've been with us before, you've met him. The man at the desk is gone. There's just a man on a porch now. The boardrooms are behind him, the briefs that were never brief, the doorways, the calendars, the somedays. He served his country, he served his years, and then one morning he set it all down. Look at the table. The watch is off. Not because time stopped mattering to him, because he finally stopped owing it to anyone else. Seneca wrote that the man who puts the finishing touches on his life every single day is never short of time and never afraid of tomorrow. Go to sleep, able to say, "I have lived," and every new morning becomes a gift instead of a debt. The man on the porch would tell you the same thing, in plainer words. And if you were his son, sitting across from him right now, this is what you'd hear. Time. Don't waste it. Every day you have is a gift, and it should be treated like one. Do your best every day in everything you do. And if you're blessed to wake up to another one tomorrow, do the same. Don't spend your life on frivolity and things. Spend it on living. Seneca's letter has waited 2,000 years for you to hear it. The meeting is over. The day is yours. Don't waste it.